Hey, what's up, traders? This is the watch list video for Tuesday, April 19th, showing you the SPY dailies I always start with, and a pretty narrow range on the market today. And it was a really, I actually have my wife took a picture of me while I was trading today. There's a shot she took from a few hours ago. So that's kind of how my day went. It was extremely boring. There were some trades to be had. I felt like I never got involved in the few that probably would have paid a little bit, but overall, I didn't see a lot of A-plus setups. Super boring day. Hang on a second. All right, so I'm just going to go right into what we're watching for tomorrow, and I'm going to start with probably my least favorite because it's a little bit of a weird chart, but it's certainly active. MDVL, excuse me, had a gap up here, and then a follow-through day, and then it looked like it was rolling over, and then massive strength on Friday, the gap up today, and the reversal. This isn't uncommon after a big move like yesterday. Certainly don't ever want to chase a gap up. Never want to chase a big move, in other words. And it went out at its lows, but if you kind of picture the range it's been in, which I'll draw a little imaginary lines from here to here, it's kind of coming down into the middle of that range, and certainly being a recent high flyer with big relative volume lately, deserves to be on watch for a possible A-plus intraday setup as the day unfolds tomorrow. CASA, massive, 181 million shares, and going out basically at its highs. Certainly worth watching for a follow-through setup tomorrow. Had a nice headline today. SST, kind of a recent runner, recent high flyer, came down, hit the 20-day today. Had a nice little bounce, but closed well off of its highs. But if it holds the 20-day, might give a decent setup tomorrow. FREQ, just a little bit of unusual volume. I don't know if that thing had news or what, but I'm going to keep an eye on it because of that big volume spike today. ATER, probably one of my favorites because it's been very, very strong lately. And then I'll take today's candle out of it. You had a couple topping tails, right? So it looked like, okay, the longs are finally being defeated and it's going to roll over. And next thing you know, it goes out pretty close to a 3-day high. So probably worth watching tomorrow. Very, very strong stock. CEI, I wanted to choose one of the low-priced oil plays. I just chose this one. Big volume. Topped out today at 109. Maybe over that tomorrow if oil's strong. I don't really like trading stocks around $1, but we'll see. I'm going to put it on watch. ESSC, nice volume. Closing well off its highs, though, but we'll see if it gives any kind of follow-through day tomorrow. BWV, an ugly chart, but we made nice money in this one on Friday. Hang on, I have after hours on here. I already talked about this in the video this weekend. We had we caught this big rip right here on Friday. Then today, sells off for a little bit, has an interesting afternoon volume spike, and then goes out sideways. But if you think about what I look for on bounces, this was a bounce play on Friday, but it broke its early high, but it didn't do it in the afternoon. Still paid well, but we still don't have an afternoon high of day break going back many, many, many days, maybe until it was over, since it was over $60. So we got close to an afternoon break. Here's the early high, right? This is the afternoon. We didn't break the highs, but we got close. So I am going to put this right back on bounce watch going into tomorrow. We'll see. IMTE, the weakest stock in the whole wide world. I mean, it made this move from 6 to 30, whatever it was, almost 39, and hasn't had a bounce play, really a clean afternoon breakout since then. And it's just incredibly oversold. And these are 15-minute candles. And I always look back, I always go to these vertical lines where it opened and look to the right and say, did it ever break its early high? And the answer is no on all of these days, right? Today, you could argue for much of the day it held up better than it has, but then still sold off at the end. Afternoon high of day break out of a range in this thing, and I will try it. I will not try it with massive size because I watched this thing trade. I don't trust it. But, I've had it on bounce watch for like a week straight, so it goes right back on bounce watch. BRCC, I had on bounce watch for today. Didn't meet my bounce play parameters. If I go to 5-minute candles, you see it gap down, maybe gave a gap down bounce play entry on a smaller time frame. I'm not sure. But gap down and just they bought it right up. So put in its high in the opening hour or so and then kind of bled lower the rest of the day. So I still didn't have a bounce play setup that I look for. So it goes right back on bounce watch. GNS has now been trading for 4 days. Look how narrow the range was today versus the first three. So it's kind of interesting. Let's see, topped out at 714 before closing at 635. I'm going to watch this just like the other few I told you on Bounce Watch. Love to see an afternoon range break to the upside, but that one goes on Bounce Watch. And then lastly, VERU, strongest stock in the whole world last week, and now you had a reversal and then another red day today. I'd still like to see it get down to the moving averages, but I am going to put this one on watch tomorrow. As a day trader, you got to watch the recent high flyers, especially after a couple red days, because even though most traders would say, well, it still needs to come in some, anything can happen. So if I get an A+ setup on a bounce play setup, I will take a shot at VERU as well. That's it. We'll add other gappers in the pre-market, and that's all I've got. Boring day today. Hopefully some better setups and more setups tomorrow. All right, I'm done babbling. See you in the chat room.